it's your best friend Zoe coming to you from underneath my bed. Have you ever been interrupted while reading? Has anyone continued to talk to you after you've continued reading? Have you ever lost your page in a book? If so, then this video is for you. Okay. Well then, welcome to my video about the struggles of a book nerd. Without further ado, let's begin. Reason number 1. When someone asks you what you're reading while you're reading, it probably goes a little something like this. You're just sitting there reading, enjoying your book, and then all of a sudden you hear, "What book are you reading?" And then starts chaos. If you're lucky, you can just say, "We were liars," and then go back to reading. But sometimes you get the really pesky ones. And so you look up from your book and you say, "We were liars." You go back down and you start reading. You get back to the same spot. And you're like, "Oh, I cannot wait to find out what happens next." But then they ask another question. "So who's it by?" Or, "What's it about?" Does this look like a face that wants to answer your questions about my book? No, I just want to read my book. I really don't want to tell you every little detail about my book and every little detail about me reading my book. I just want to sit down and read my book. If I'm sitting on a park bench away from society, it's not because I'm lonely. It's because I want to read my book. Can you understand this? Reason number 2. When you lose your page, so you're reading, right? And you need to get up, you need to put your book down, you need to do something. So you put it down, face up, or you lay it like this because apparently your pages aren't moving. But then this happens and you're just like, "What? I don't know what page I'm on now." So you frantically run back and you're just like, "No, what page was I on?" And you go to the last page number you remembered, so we'll pretend it's 85. And you're like, no, that was like 30 pages ago. You just frantically flip through and you're like, "No, my life is over now." Because you don't know where you left off. The struggle is real. So you're just sitting there mourning the loss of your page number when your friend just leans over and they're like, "Hey, Zoe, you're on page 113. And you're just like, "Bruh, how did you know that?" But then in the end you forgive them because you found your page again. You're reunited at last. Admit it, you've all done this to a book. Just come on, admit it. Especially when you find your book again and you lost it, or you get your page number. Bleh. Reason number 3. When someone wants to borrow your book, it starts out with you just lovingly describing the book you're reading, and then they have the audacity to say, "Hey, can I read it after you?" Sometimes you trust them and it's just like, sure you can. But then sometimes it's someone you don't even really know and they're just like, "Can I borrow that book after you?" And awkward pause. Because what do you tell them? Do you say, "No, I don't trust you"? That's rude. And you can't just be like, "Well, no." So you have to come up with an excuse, which is, well, there's about 12 million people in front of you wanting this book, so if you can wait a few years, then we're good. But if not, I'd highly suggest you just go check it out from your library. Sometimes, though, you're just too awkward and too nice to say no, so you're like, "Sure." And then another day goes and you give them the book and then you never get it back, or you just feel like you won't ever get it back, but really in 2 days you get it back. But it doesn't matter, you spent 2 days without your book. And finally, reason number 4. When you just finished a book or a series, but you have no one to talk to it about. It's that sad moment when you read a book that there's no fandom for. And so you're just stuck there sitting like, "No, I'm all alone in this world." But but then you just force your friends to read it. But sometimes your friends won't even read the book, and you're just sitting there on your own little lawn chair out in the middle of nowhere crying over this series, and no one's there to comfort you. It's the saddest thing ever. But thankfully, at least with some books, even if your friends haven't read them, you can just obsess over them online. Like, We Were Liars. Like, I love this book so much. I finally got it back today. I let someone borrow it. It killed me. But there's this one series I read in like the summer of 2012, I think, Tomorrow Girls, and I couldn't get anyone to read it, and there's no one online to talk to it about, and it killed me. End of story. It's a sad, sad time when you can't get someone to read a book or a series that you really loved. It's just... Okay, so that's all for today, folks. Tell me in the comments below whether you can totally relate to any of these things, or if you have anything that people bug you, just tell me. I could probably feel your pain. But just remember, I make bookish videos every Tuesday and Saturday, and I have whatever Thursdays every single Thursday. What? Goodbye, my little lovely. See you on Saturday.